I'd like to share with you today is called The Crazy on the Corner by Ted Brooks. Bad luck. The light turned red and I was trapped standing at the corner. I prayed for it to change and quickly. He was standing too close to me. And besides, it was cold and I was getting wet from the snow. Can I have something for my file, mister? He asked. This one was a crazy, no doubt about it. The grimy box under his arm gave him away immediately. Crazies always carry something, usually a shopping bag with handles. They can be pretty unstable, but this guy looked pretty safe. Sorry, no money. I had repeated the old lie so often it came out automatically. I half expected to hear myself saying, "This is a recording. Please shove off and don't try again." Have you got anything for my file? He repeated. Finally, his message sank through. I fished in my pocket, pulled out a brochure, and handed it to him. No, he shouted. Then almost pathetically, he finished, I don't have a file for that. I took it back and turned away. Come on, light, change. I stepped over the curb for a break in traffic. I'm Howard, he said. What's your name? Mark. One syllable was all the information I intended to give. I had no desire to have some crazy calling me all the time. I knew people had to change their phone numbers to stop the calls. I liked my number. I glanced a quick look to see what he was doing. He had a pencil in one hand and was stooping to pick up a piece of paper from the snow. Just then the light changed and I took off. Halfway down the block, I slowed down and looked back. The crazy had just closed his box and begun to look around for a new victim. A few days later, I was walking the same route when I noticed an ambulance parked outside the alley. I joined the crowd of onlookers to see what had happened. Two attendants in white jackets wheeled their stretcher out of the alley. It was the crazy. His face was showing, so I knew he wasn't dead. But as the attendant shut the door, I could tell by their conversation that he wouldn't stay uncovered for very long. A policeman questioned some of the people in the crowd, but received no answers. Nobody seemed to care that much, not even the cop. It was just a little added excitement on an otherwise dull December day. The cop raised his voice and asked, "Did anybody know this guy?" Nobody answered. Finally, I volunteered. His name's Howard. People around me backed away, as if my knowing the crazy's name made me a crazy too. The cop came over and began to pump me for more information. His name is Howard. That's all I know. Well, at least there'll be a name for the headstone. Thanks for your help. Oh, by the way, would you take this for me? He reached down and picked up the crazy's box. I'd like to skip the paperwork on this one. He shoved the box into my hands and walked away before I could say anything. Why would I want this guy's garbage? I thought. I looked around for a trash can, but I couldn't just toss the box. Maybe it was the stories I'd heard of millionaires who lived like bums, or perhaps it was just my slightly misguided sense of loyalty to the human race. Whatever it was, I opened the box. I was disappointed. There was nothing but old clothes and a file folder. I pulled out the file and dumped the rest of the stuff. Then I noticed the crude printing on the folder. Friends. I opened it and looked inside. It held only one small scrap of paper. On it was written, Mark. He thought he wanted a handout when all he really wanted was a friend.